Welcome to Houston Strange Storytime Tuesday with me, your host, Adam. Today we have a very exciting update from the modern Galveston Ghost Story, which I think is about to be renamed the Gray Man of Galveston. I was finally able to set up a phone call with Ellie, who is Jin's friend of Spooky Galveston from the Galveston series. Ellie was with Jin the night she had the spookiest encounter of the whole Galveston series, in my opinion, and she agreed to have a phone call with me and share her side of the story. So you're Jin's friend Ellie,
Yes. Yeah.
and you're the one who was with her the night when she had that very strange encounter.
Yes. Yes. I was with her that night. I lived in Galveston for a little over a year and I loved it there. It just didn't work out. Um, but I worked with Jenna as a ghost tour guide there. That's how we met.
Okay.
And I still go back and help her seasonally when I can and do tours or events with her or just hang out with her. We have our beach nights. We still go to the same place sometimes.
Oh, wow.
Mhm.
Tell me the experience as best as you remember it.
Okay, it's been a while. And my story differs a little bit in the memory. Our memories differ just a little bit, but it's still the same story.
Okay.
Um, Jenna and I I can't remember, I think we had worked that night. Um, but we'd gone down to the seawall just like we usually did. We spent a lot of time down there at night. We just like to kick our feet in the sand and talk and whatever. We just like to hang out down there. So we'd gone down to the seawall and it was a beautiful night, but it just was kind of also an odd night. I remember we were standing out on the beach and we kept hearing whispers. And I even said to her, like, do you hear like people talking? And she said, yeah, but there was nobody around us. And it wasn't like you could hear any conversations. It was just like being in a busy room with other people kind of
Wow.
talking quietly. And we both kind of brushed that off because in our experience as ghost tour guides and doing investigations, we just were kind of like, ghosts, you know? And a little while later, we were just standing there talking and I had a ponytail in and someone like my ponytail like yanked back, like somebody pulled hard on it, like it moved my head. And I looked at Jenna and I went, did you see that? And her eyes were huge and she was like, yes, I definitely saw it. Your ponytail was yanked back. And we were both really weirded out for a minute. But again, because of the nature of our jobs and living in Galveston in general, we just kind of went, ghosts, and stayed there. We were kind of watching the waves and I think we might have been waiting for weather to come in. I don't remember, but it was a little while later, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, like the temperature dropped and we both thought, oh, it's time. It's time to go. So we went up the steps on the seawall. As soon as we got up to the main level, to the street level, it warmed up. And so we weren't quite done talking because Jenna and I can talk literally for hours if you just let us talk. And we sat down on one of the little benches that artists have decorated there on the seawall. We were kicking sand off our feet while we were sitting there and just continued talking. And then at some point in the conversation, we weren't there too long, I looked up, something caught my attention. There were two buildings in front of us, like a hotel and a restaurant, I think. And this man seemed to kind of come out from between the two. And he looked super spaced out. His face was kind of like, I can't really describe it. He wasn't, the look on his face when I first saw him wasn't menacing in any way. It was maybe like he was really high or not paying attention to the world around him. I wasn't super alarmed at first, but I did notice him. And he had everything about him to me was gray. And this is where Jenna and I differ, but we both saw him and got out of there when we did. He had like a gray t-shirt on and kind of gray jeans, grayish jeans. I mean, the whole tone of him, like his hair, he didn't have gray hair, but it just all felt very gray. Like when I think about him, I kind of call him like the gray man. He was not focused on us. He didn't look at us. He was just not paying attention. And I said to Jenna, I was like, hey, we might need to get going. She looked over and saw him, and he saw us. So we got up and we beelined to our vehicles because both of our cars were also right there in front of us. I was parked in front of her and she was parked directly behind me. And we both went straight for our cars. And as I was getting in our cars or heading for our cars, he made his way towards Jenna and he moved pretty quickly. I looked in my rearview mirror the second I got in the car to see if she'd made it in her car, and she was closing her door, but he was gone because I was getting ready to like back up over him or whatever if she needed help. And he was just gone. So we took off and I called her and I was like, did he get in the back of your truck? What is happening? And she's like, no, he's just gone. We even pulled over in a more well-lit space shortly after and checked the back of her truck, and nothing was there. And you've been on the seawall, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's no place he could have gone. He just was gone. He wasn't behind her truck. He wasn't on the sidewalk. He hadn't gone back over to the building. Like, he was just gone. It freaked us out so bad. Like, I think that is one of the spookiest moments I've had where it freaked me out on the island. We've had lots and lots of stories, but that one stuck.
That's really interesting though that you say it like that he appeared just grey, because like he didn't look, say, black and white to you, right? It was just like a tonality
No,
thing.
no. When I first saw him, I wasn't even sure that he was not a person. Like, when I first saw him, I thought, oh, is that guy high? But then when I looked at him more closely, like, he just didn't really have any color to him. Like, he wasn't see-through, he wasn't black or white, he wasn't, like, if he was alive, he was very sick because of the color of his skin just didn't look good. Like, he was just literally all gray to me.
Wow. So
Um,
like almost like a desaturated photograph kind of thing.
yeah, very much so. Yes. He just, I will never forget that image of him. Later on, we saw him again. It was another night, and I think we had finished with tours because that was kind of Jenna's and my thing. When we were doing tours, we would go and get some dinner or something to eat after
Hmm.
tours and then hang out and talk. And we had gone to IHOP, and you always run into people on the island and talk, and we'd run into some people we knew and we're talking with them. And then when we went outside, we were talking to a security guard for the hotel that's right next to IHOP. I can never remember the name
The San
of the
Luis, I
hotel.
think.
Yeah, San Luis. And that is the one. And we're talking to him and we asked him if he'd seen anything weird. And he kind of told us some of his stories. And we were standing there talking to him, and we started telling him that we had seen, this guy on the seawall, and told him our story about it. And he said, oh, yeah, like, other people have seen this guy. And that freaked us out even more. And it was usually women, he said, that saw him. While we were standing there talking, again, in the parking lot at the IHOP in San Luis, there's not a ton of like vision blockers if you're looking around you. I mean, there's the buildings, right? But for the general area where we were, there were a few trees, but nothing that somebody could really easily hide behind or anything.
Hmm.
I look over and I'm like, Jenna, there he is. He was there at the edge of the parking lot. And as we looked over and saw him, he wandered over and kind of went towards the street by the seawall and around the side of the building where I didn't see him anymore. And we pointed it out to the security guard. The security guard went after him and he was gone.
Wow. The security guard, did he see him at all? Or did he think that he saw him? Or...
That I can't remember, so I don't want to tell you incorrectly. I don't remember whether
Okay.
he saw him or not. For some reason, I feel like it's usually women that see him, so I don't know. I can't remember if the security guard saw him or not.
So I have had like kind of similar reports where, you see, it's never as simple as like a man and a wife, or you know what I mean, a husband and wife walking
Right.
down, and it's like,
Yeah.
well, I saw him and she didn't, or whatever.
I would love to hear the stories of other people that saw him. I mean, the guard at the San Luis said other women had complained, so there's people out there.
To be honest, I'm very tempted to just drive down to the San Luis and See if I can convince them to share some stories. So there you have it. The Gray Man of Galveston. I'd like to apologize for the audio quality on this episode because it was just a phone call that I recorded. Typically, I try to get these things in person, but Ellie no longer lives in Texas, so it would have been impossible to do. I'm so glad that she took the time to just have a little chat with me. Obviously, I edited it down for story's sake, but it's safe to say that Ellie will probably make an appearance in season 3 of Houston Strange. The next full-length episode of Houston Strange should be out sometime late next week. I'm just putting the final touches on before I travel for work. If you would like to help produce the show, click the link in the bio. There's a couple of links in there where you can become a producer or an executive producer. Those funds will go directly to funding some new merch that's hopefully going to be coming out sometime early next year. Otherwise, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, do all those things. Comment, and if you have a story, email me at houstonstrangepodcast@gmail.com. And of course, stay strange, Houston.